Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hey, welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight. Mr. Eric Llewellyn is right here next to me, ready to talk about his epic sharing network and trying to get free cannabis in the hands of indigent medical marijuana patients. So we'll be talking about that, some more information. We have some great hemp news. Mr. John Cornett is feeling sharp, and he's back over here ready to play a song. Hey, John.
Hey, brother. I'll be doing a song or two about weed and stuff.
That's what we do.
That's right.
And another thing we usually do before we get into the news is we run this old video produced for us back in 1998 with our dancing cannabis leaves. It's trademark.
I feel the force.
All right, there's our dancing cannabis leaves. You know, we won all kinds of web awards back in 1998 for that. Even the British Medical Journal's website of the week, but that's another story. First hip news story tonight is from the United States Congress. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and House Democratic Caucus Chairman Hakeem Jeffries announced their intentions to introduce legislation known as the Marijuana Freedom and Opportunity Act to remove marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act, or CSA. That's exactly what we need. It doesn't need to be rescheduled. It needs to be completely descheduled, thus ending the nearly century-long federal policy of criminalization and prohibition of cannabis, the oldest and most productive crop. The Marijuana Freedom and Opportunity Act is a comprehensive piece of legislation that would end our nation's failed 80-year prohibition of marijuana and allow states to implement reforms free from the threat of federal interference. This bill is part of the continued shift of the Democratic Party leadership at a time when 68% of Americans support marijuana legalization, including outright majorities of Democrats at 77%, Independents at 52%, and Republicans at 57%. Independents, that was 62%. Republicans, 57%. Let me get that straight. It's time for ending federal prohibition to become a truly bipartisan issue in the eyes of voters. Legislative relief must come sooner rather than later. Over 650,000 Americans, disproportionately black, brown, young, and poor, are arrested for violating marijuana laws every year. Those without the means to defend themselves from the state bear the greatest burden and lifelong consequences of this ongoing failed federal policy. It's time for congressional leaders to take a stand to right these past wrongs. The importance of this bill's emphasis on facilitating the expunging of individual criminal records for marijuana possession cannot be overstated. I personally would be very happy to have the felony for possession of 1.5 grams of marijuana that the federal courts found me guilty of back in 1993. I'd love to have that expunged. Millions of Americans, like me, have suffered from the lifelong collateral consequences of criminal prohibition, making it harder for them to find a job, obtain housing, and access higher education. As states dial back their war on marijuana consumers, it's important that those who were impacted by this oppressive prohibition are able to see previous harms remedied and be provided the opportunity to participate in the benefits that come along with legalization and regulation. At the time of the introduction of the bill, sponsors said, quote, Leader Charles E. Schumer of New York said, quote, it's time to decriminalize marijuana, and this bill is a critical first step. The Marijuana Freedom and Opportunity Act would give the states the right to make their own choices when it comes to regulation, better equip all Americans, particularly communities disproportionately impacted by marijuana's criminalization, to participate in the growing marijuana economy, and by incentivizing, sealing, and expungement programs, provide Americans with low-level marijuana convictions the opportunity to move forward, end quote, Schumer said. Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York said, quote, "For far too long, the impact of America's repressive, archaic marijuana laws have been felt most heavily by people of color. This critical effort works to correct that injustice by providing $100 million toward expungement programs and creating an investment fund for people of color and female entrepreneurs who wish to enter the lucrative legal cannabis industry," end quote. We urge you to contact your legislators and have them support the Marijuana Freedom and Opportunity Act. In North Dakota, Governor Doug Berman, a Republican, signed a bill into law that will remove the threat of jail time for the possession of up to half an ounce of marijuana. House Bill 1050 reclassifies the possession of up to 1/2 ounce, or 14.175 grams, of cannabis and or the personal possession of marijuana-related paraphernalia for a first-time offender from a criminal misdemeanor punishable by up to 30 days in jail to a criminal infraction punishable by a fine but no possibility of jail time. Those charged with subsequent infractions over the course of a calendar year may face the possibility of misdemeanor charges. In 2016, North Dakota ranked 6th in the nation in per capita marijuana possession arrests. Separate provisions in the measure reduce penalties for the possession of up to 500 grams of cannabis from a felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison, to a Class B misdemeanor. Penalties for the possession of greater amounts are amended from a felony to a Class A misdemeanor. The new penalties will take effect on August 1st of this year. The marijuana grower Cronus Group has a big market capitalization and tiny marijuana sales. Now, some of you might have noticed that this banner has been turned around where for 2 years it was flipped over. Well, that's because the Cronus Group and their minions attacked us. And now all of our medical records, over 250,000 patient medical records, are held by the Cronus Group. And they have all of my assets I've ever made in my life. And so this is a story about them from Barron Magazine. Although investors value Canadian cannabis vendor Cronus Group at more than $5 billion, it sold scarcely more than $5 million worth of cannabis in its March quarter. The sales announced Thursday morning left it with cash flow loss of $13 million. The results were about as weak as expected, coming in just about at consensus forecast for the March sales. The quarter's income statement showed a loss of about $500,000 on operations. After some non-cash accounting gains, however, Cronus reported March earnings per share of 48 cents compared with December quarter loss of 6 cents. Cronus's chief executive, Mike Gorenstein, said nothing about the sales on a conference call with investors and analysts. He focused instead on deals, construction projects, and the public service campaign to promote responsible cannabis use. The company urged investors to focus on, quote, an adjusted EBITDA number, end quote, representing earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, with some one-time charges removed. For the March quarter, Cronus's reported an adjusted EBITDA loss of 8.9 million Canadian dollars, or about 6.6 million US dollars. Although Cronus's sales lagged behind those of most of its well-capitalized Canadian peers, the Toronto-based company owes its fabulous stock market capitalization to a $2.4 billion injection by Altria Group, the owners of Marlboro and Philip Morris cigarettes. They bought a 45% stake in the Canadian weed company. Another $1.4 billion would buy Altria majority control. So Cronus is the tobacco giant's cannabis play. So Philip Morris is betting on Cronus. And they've stolen everything in my life. Got to say it again. Gorenstein, the CEO, said, quote, Altria is the right strategic partner, end quote. He said the cigarette company will help Cronus manufacture pre-roll marijuana cigarettes, and that they think that will help them and help them distribute them through their distribution channels. Investors also expect Cronos to make some smart acquisitions with its $2.5 billion in cash. After excise taxes, Cronos had a net March revenue of 6.5 million Canadian dollars, or 4.9 million US dollars, a 15% increase from its disappointing December quarter. The increase came from increased sales of oil containing CBD, or cannabidiol, a non-intoxicating derivative of the cannabis plant that has analgesic effects. Cannabis oil made up 23% of the quarter's sales, according to Cronos Group. Cronos also sold a bit more of the buzz-inducing dried marijuana flowers, moving 1,100 kilograms, or about 2,300 pounds of the stuff. That's about what you'd produce from half an acre here in Oregon. So they moved 1,100 kilograms for a 7% increase over December's volumes. Among its quarterly accomplishments, Cronos pointed to the receipt of cash from the Altria deal, some management hires, and progress in building greenhouses in Ontario and Israel. It expects to complete construction on the projects in the second half of this year. Israel will allow producers of marijuana to export the product for medical use. Gorenstein said Cronos is planning to produce CBD and possibly psychoactive cannabis with a partner in the country of Colombia. Our next story. Governor Kevin Stitt, a Republican of Oklahoma, signed legislation into law permitting osteopaths to recommend medical cannabis to their patients. In the first quarter of medical marijuana legalization in Oklahoma, they've already added 80,000 patients. And now osteopaths can do that too. Eric Holcomb, a Republican governor of Indiana, and Ned Lamont, a Democratic governor of Connecticut, signed industrial hemp legislation into law this week. In Arizona, a campaign committee called Smart and Safe Arizona is preparing to launch a campaign to qualify a 2020 adult use marijuana legalization ballot initiative in the state of Arizona. From Colorado, lawmakers approve multiple marijuana reform bills. Multiple legislative proposals await action from Democratic Governor Jared Polis. House Bill 1234 establishes regulations for the delivery of cannabis products from state licensed retailers. Under the plan, deliveries are limited to one per day per household and are only permitted in municipalities that explicitly allow for such activities. Deliveries to college campuses are prohibited. The delivery of medical cannabis products would begin on January 2nd, 2020, while retail cannabis sales could begin on January 2nd, 2021. House Bill 1230, established in Colorado, establishes regulations for the licensing of marijuana hospitality spaces. Under the measure, licensed dispensaries and retailers could apply for on-site consumption permits. Hotels, restaurants, and other private businesses would also be permitted to apply for similar licensing. At indoor facilities, marijuana smoking will be permitted unless prohibited by local rules. If signed into law, Colorado will become only the second state, after Alaska, to regulate social use of marijuana indoors. The other Colorado bill, House Bill 1263, reduces criminal penalties for the possession of large quantities of cannabis. It reduces penalties for the possession of over 6 ounces of marijuana or 3 ounces of marijuana concentrate from a level 4 felony to a level 1 misdemeanor. It also mandates that police may not arrest a defendant for violations involving the possession of between 1 and 2 ounces of cannabis. Finally, Colorado Senate Bill 13 permits doctors to recommend cannabis therapy for any condition which a physician could prescribe an opioid. Governor Polis is expected to sign each of these proposals into law. In fact, Governor Jared Polis of Colorado has been a marijuana activist before he ever got into politics. He became a state legislator representing Boulder, Colorado, then a United States congressman for 6 years, and he was just in January, in November he won the election, became governor of Colorado in January. And I had the great honor of meeting Governor Jared Polis at the NOCO Hemp Conference back at the end of last month, the end of March. From Boston, Massachusetts, CBD infused products commercially available in retail stores or online seldom provide accurate information on their label, according to a Boston TV station investigation. Reporters randomly purchased 9 commercially available CBD-infused products, including oils and candies, and submitted them to a third-party laboratory analysis. In every instance, the percentage of CBD identified in the products failed to match the information provided on the label. In most cases, the products contained a smaller amount of CBD than advertised. In some cases, they had no CBD at all. The results are consistent with dozens of other reports which similarly determine that many commercially available CBD-infused products are of variable potency and may contain adulterants. Our last story tonight is from Las Vegas, Nevada. Members of the Las Vegas City Council have voted in favor of a proposed municipal ordinance permitting licensed facilities to allow on-site marijuana consumption, just like they have in Alaska. Under the new measure, customers must be at least 21 years of age and bring their own cannabis. Licensed social use venues will not be able to provide patrons with cannabis at the store, either with marijuana or alcohol. And cannabis use must be regulated to indoor spaces away from public view. Applicants who wish to operate an on-site consumption facility will need to apply for an annual license from the City of Las Vegas. Initially, only licensed dispensaries will be able to apply for the on-site consumption permits. Those advocating in favor of the new ordinance opined that the establishments will serve as destinations for many of Las Vegas's tourists. And although Nevada law does not explicitly permit social use spaces, a 2017 Legislative Council Bureau opined that states, local, and governments have the option to regulate such establishments. To date, only the state of Alaska, as well as a handful of cities, including Denver and West Hollywood, regulate on-site marijuana consumption. Hopefully, we here in the Northwest will be able to benefit again from this soon. So, right over here is Mr. John Cornett, and he's ready to sing about marijuana too. So stay tuned. Hey,
There's an honorable mention in this song. There sure is. Paul, you know, I just have to say though before I start playing that I get sick when I hear some of this news because, you know, where is the harm, folks? Where's the harm for cannabis? Where is the harm? Please, somebody show me where's the harm. That we should be put in prison and we should have a federal record. Yeah, it's bad. It's insidious. It's a way of finding out who's going to dissent from the king and his court and who is not. And you know what? I am a dissenter, period. And this is a song about a certain level of dissension. Oh, yeah. I've been warped by the rain, driven by the snow, drunk and dirty. Don't you know that I'm still willing? Well, I was out on the road late last night. Seen my pretty Judy in every headlight. Said Judy, free. And I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, to Hatchetby to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made. Driven the back road so I wouldn't get way. And if you give me weed, white and wine, show me a sign, I'll be willing to be moving. Smokes and folks in Mexico got baked by the sun every time I go down to Mexico. But I'm still willing to by the wind. I've been right by the sleet, had my head stoved in, and I'm still on my feet, and I'm still willing. And I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, Hatchetby to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back road so wouldn't get way. And if you give me sweet wine, saying wine, show me a sign, I'll be willing to be moving. Thank you, Little Feet, for that song. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the show. Good to see you. So you've been working on this project for a while now. Epic Sharing Network.
Epic Stakeholders.
Stakeholders.
Epic Stakeholders Network.
Okay.
And Epic stands for Every Patient is Considered.
All right.
And now what this is when this whole marijuana legalization came out, it was all about the patients. Well, as the OLCC got their hands on it, the patients got forgotten. The people that can't afford their medicine, can't get out to get their medicine, they're being left behind.
And the growers are abandoning them because of the outrageous charges and the outrageous fees you have to pay to report, and the penalties if you don't report properly and tag all your plants. And I even had an OMMP inspector come out to my garden last year, and fortunately they found us in compliance, but I guess some people they didn't,
Right.
and that caused some problems.
Right.
So growers are being scared off, patients are being scared off, and we've gone from about 78,000 patients 3 years ago to 29,000 patients today.
Right. It's sad. It's disheartening that nobody's caring about these people that actually need the cannabis. So
Like you.
yeah, like me, myself,
Your wife.
and my wife, and half of the audience behind the cameras here, we all
Maybe more than half.
Yeah, right. We all rely on this medicine. So what I've started is this Epic Stakeholders Network, which is basically we've gone and contacted some OLCC gardens, and there's a little clause in the law of their growing that they can donate up to 3% of their crop. And what we've been doing is we've been getting that donated and switching it out to dispensaries and letting patients come in with their medical card.
I could see where this could help these gardens, because they could tell the dispensaries that aren't buying their product, hey, I'm donating this to patients.
Well,
maybe even work with the dispensary.
See, and that's kind of and there's the website right there on Facebook.
Yeah.
But that's one of the kickers is we're not offering the companies anything except for the knowledge that when a patient goes in and gets their free medicine because they can't afford it, if they're enjoying that medicine, when they can afford it, they're going to go back to that same gardener. They're going to pick up that flower from that gardener. So it's a little compensation for them, knowing that their medicine's getting out in the hands of patients.
And it's a lot better than the stuff just going to waste out there.
Right, yeah, there's such an excess of all the medicine out there. That
They say there's more than 6 years supply
Right.
currently in their warehouses.
And the longer it sits, the worse it goes.
Yeah,
it
the
dries
terpenes
up.
go away.
It becomes hay.
THC
Exactly.
starts to degrade at about 5 to 10% a year.
Right. So and so we started this program about 2 months ago, and to date we've given away 57 pounds. In the 2 months we've done it, we've had people that are private growing for themselves with access coming to us and donating their free medicine so we can get that into the hands of the patients. It's phenomenal how it's going right now.
All right.
But yeah.
That's great. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And so if you've got a potluck coming up. Pardon the pun.
It's okay. No, yeah,
it's a potluck.
Right. Actually, what it is
Maybe we should call it a cannabis luck.
Yes, and that's at the Flight Lounge this Wednesday, the 15th.
The Flight Lounge is at 72nd.
Yeah, it's
and
5427 72nd. And
right across from Mount Scott Park.
Correct, yes.
And next to the Cannabis Corner.
Correct, yes. And we'll be doing a faux party, faux soup. It's a $5 entry fee because that's the club fee. Soup is free, but what we're doing is we're going to network. We're trying to get people of like mind together.
Free pho?
Free
or
pho.
Fa. It's fa, right? Yeah, fa.
Pho, yeah.
Free fa.
It's a pho.
A free
good,
pho.
Right? So anyway, but yeah, we're going to be doing that, and anybody's welcome to come down, hang out, have some soup, and talk about needs of medical patients, basically.
We have a microphone and a studio audience here, so we are actually taking phone calls at 503-288-4442. If you have a question for Eric or I about marijuana or cannabis or hemp, call us at 503-288-4442. And we have a studio audience, and John is at the studio audience microphone ready to say something. Go ahead, John.
Well, first I have a question, then just a statement about the giveaways and such, which I think we need a lot more of because there's a lot of people out there suffering. You know this very well, Eric. But anyway, first of all, the question, is there anything in the known OMMP or OLCC regs that provides for a certain percentage of participation, and does it offer any incentive to participate in a giveaway program? And so what are those incentives? I mean, not what you're doing notwithstanding, it's a great program. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
But we need more.
We do. We need
50 pounds ain't nothing.
It's not, and it went in 2 months. It was quick. You're right.
It's something though. Thank God.
Right. There is the incentive to the gardeners is knowing they're helping.
When you say we have 6 years stashed away, that tells me there's somebody's not telling us about the solar cycles.
Right.
Okay, that's all I got to say about that. There's no reason to have
Well,
6 years of cannabis in storage.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we'll be able to start selling it to all the other legal states. You know, Canada doesn't have enough supply.
Right.
What if we could ship our cannabis to Canada?
Why not?
That would be a great thing. I mean, we've used to buy so much Canadian cannabis in our market back in the BC Bud days of the 90s and 10 years ago. But as I said, we've got another studio audience member at the studio microphone. Go right ahead there, Sylvia.
Eric, is this on?
Yes.
Can you repeat that information about the location when?
Yes, that is this Wednesday, May 15th. It's at the Flight Lounge, which is 5427 72nd Street in Portland.
72nd, just off of that 8th Street.
72nd and Herald.
Herald.
Right on the corner. There's the dispensary that's helping us out right on the corner is Cannabis Corner. They've helped us out a lot. If you get lost, step in there.
That's where Nikki Gates, the other spot, used to be before the city closed them down because they said they violated the Clean Air Act and threatened to fine them.
We need to be smoking in our places nowadays too.
But right next door, the Flight Lounge, operated by Leah Flynn, has been a private club since then.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, and it's a wonderful place to go to hang out, meet up with people, drink some tea, soda, smoke.
Yeah, it's a fun place.
Yeah.
So if you have a question for us tonight, you can call us, that number there on your screen, 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. It is the 10th of May, 2019. If you're not watching, the 10th of May, 2019, don't try to call. We're not on the air. But so you're going to have free for all.
Yes.
A free for all.
Free for all. Yes, there you go. Yeah, it's come down to, even if you're not a patient, you just want to have a good time. It's getting together, networking, meeting up with people like-minded, see what we can do from here. But, and like I said, if you're out there and you got excess medicine that you want to get rid of, contact us. We got people that need it.
How can they contact you?
You can contact me on Facebook, which is the Epic Stakeholding Network.
If somebody's not on Facebook.
If you're not on Facebook, my direct phone number. I'm all about helping the patients, and I'll put it out there. Call me. My name is Epic Eric Llewellyn, 503-997-1717. I'm reaching out to anybody that has medicine for people. Come on, let's get together and help people. You're saving lives.
It's named after you, Epic Eric,
yes,
and
sir.
Epic Stakeholders.
That's it, yeah.
Okay.
Making it work.
But what is the acronym EPIC for?
EPIC stands for Every Patient is Considered. So anybody that, you can't look at somebody and be like, you're disabled or not. If you feel that you're a patient, then let us know and you're a patient in our eyes.
John has another question. Go ahead, John.
Where does oil fall in there?
There's a clause where in any concentrate, as long as it falls under a certain, I can't quote the exact wording for you right now, but we are allowed to accept oil as well.
Okay.
And you give that away?
Yes, anything.
You don't just accept it?
No, we don't just accept it. We give it away. We make sure, and we let people know.
You don't just vape and smoke?
No, it's
If someone
all.
were to donate a 10-gram tube to you, can turn around and give that to
I would put it
patient.
on our website saying we had this donated. Contact me. Somebody needs it.
Okay.
And the number one thing we do is because it's all about people hiding stuff in our industry. The one thing I request of the people that hit up our site is put it out there that you've come to us and we've given you something, because then people aren't like, well, they're hiding it and we're keeping it. We want it known that we're getting it out there.
Transparency.
Exactly. Spread the word. We're
The
helping
more
people.
transparency, the better.
Exactly.
We have a video from our friend and cannabis warrior, Mr. Jorge Cervantes. This is a couple years old, and Jorge touring some giants in the Humboldt Valley of California. Stay tuned.
Boy, well, I hope you're as ready as I am, because I'm gonna take you on a tour unlike anything you've ever seen. Today, we're gonna enter the world of outdoor gardening, deep in the California backcountry, where we will visit some of the most spectacular gardens I've ever been able to visit since I started writing about the cannabis industry almost 30 years ago. These gardens aren't just incredible, they're medical. All certified and regulated under California state law to provide medicine to medicinal dispensaries. Now, because of the way medical cannabis laws are written in California, growers are forced to adapt their practices. This includes not only growing as many plants as the law allows, but growing them to huge proportions. And one of the things we'll see is by using just a few simple techniques, it's possible not only to grow huge plants, but beautiful buds and potent medicine at the same time. So sit back and enjoy the view as we begin our journey to the green giants of California. I'm here in Northern California in this beautiful cannabis garden, medicinal cannabis garden, that's full of a cornucopia of strains. Let's go on a tour and you'll see what I mean. Here we are at a medical marijuana grower's house. This is actually the bedroom window. And let's take a look out and see what it looks like. Well, there's the garden. Incredible. These plants are 10 to 12 feet tall. It's amazing. I can't believe these things. They're huge. And I'll tell you, you can grow plants just like this. These things are in 200-gallon containers. The average they're getting is 10 gallons of water a day. And the nutrients in here are all mixed early on. But they can mix more nutrients and inject them into the fertilization system. Let's go see how they do that. That's actually pretty interesting. Boy, it's a little while to get over there. Man, look at this. These plants are huge. This blue dream has really come on nicely. I can't believe it. This is a lower bud. Huh? They're everywhere. Well, over here, we can hear the dosatron. I love these dosatrons. They're really cool. They're easy to use, very easy to use. You see you've got this little hose right here with the filter on it that fits down into the container. I got to get this back here. That fits down into the container, and you have a concentrated liquid down here. Right now they're just running plain water, so I can do a demonstration. But there's a concentrated liquid down there that's usually a fertilizer, in this case organic fertilizers, because that's all he uses, or the grower uses. And then you can inject this into the system and literally dial in the percentage that you want to go into the mix. And then the other bucket is put into a pH solution. This is put into a solution here, either a pH up or down, okay? And then to dial in my pH for the water, I just look at my pH here, 6.7, and if I want to lower it, I just add in more here. I pick this up, this number up here. Once the water passes through here and picks up the fertilizer and the pH control, there's a filter out here that can pick things up, pick up any extra junk that might be in the line. And then it goes down here, and here's where the probes are for the pH and the EC meter. They're right in the line here. That's how it's easy to dial in. And then it goes into the line. This is the actual feed line manifold, and each one of these manifold tubes has a solenoid valve on it that's operated by this timer here. The timer is set for 40 minutes, and it delivers about 18 gallons of water to each 200-gallon pot. So it is so easy to operate this system, and it's right in front of you and visually, you know, a dream. The garden behind me started right here in a 24-foot diameter geodesic dome. Right here in this area is where these plants were cut March 1st of this year. They were made into cuttings. They were put into, you know, the little containers, and then later potted up into a bit bigger pots. And then they grew them out here until they were 2 to 3 feet tall. Okay, so they took them out the 15th of April. And
Okay, that's Jorge Cervantes. You can find that on YouTube if you want to see that. So you wanted to talk about indoor consumption places?
Yeah, indoor consumption. Yeah. We have an issue with that. I mean, we as partakers need a place to partake.
Yeah,
If you've rented,
a lot of it.
Yeah, if you're renting an establishment,
hotels say no
most
smoking.
of them no smoking. Yeah, hotels, motels, no smoking anywhere. Where are you supposed to medicate nowadays? Even you can't
do it outdoors.
No public
legally.
sidewalks. You can't step outside the bar like you are with cigarettes. You know, we need to step up and get ourselves into a place where we can legally consume our cannabis.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I like in Canada, which I don't like much about Canada, given what Canadians have done to me personally, but is that any place you can use tobacco legally, you can use cannabis legally.
And that's how I feel it should be.
That's how it should be.
It should be. If you're allowed to smoke, you should be able to smoke, well, whatever, I guess, however you want to say that. But yeah, you know, it's not harming anybody, you know. Mm-hmm. If you're sitting in a room with people that are smoking cannabis, they're all doing the same thing. So you're not polluting their air if they're already doing it. You know?
That's right.
So,
That's right. Just this week in the city of Denver, which allows legal indoor consumption, they legalized mushrooms.
Yes.
And we have an initiative theoretically that's going to do that here in Oregon too if it passes. But maybe that means they can smoke the DMT stuff too.
I'll admit I microdose.
Uh-huh.
It helps with my disability.
Uh-huh.
You know. So. Yep.
We have a video ready here from the just from last weekend from Vancouver, BC, the Global Marijuana March from Vancouver, featured from Cannabis Culture and Pot TV. Here is Vancouver last Saturday.
That looks awesome. Yeah, let's go wait for this.
I'm here to tell you before it was enough. Enough with the cops beating down your doors that we need to bring in new cannabis enforcement teams. Talk about a bunch of wasted police resources. Is that your legalization? We protest because people are going to prison for pot over this new rules. It's not by access. They're wasting more taxpayers' dollars, they're clogging more courts, and they're ruining a hell of a lot more lives. And I'm not here to accept it. So the city, in my opinion, can shove it when they say, hey, what are you doing down there? It's legalized. Well, bullshit.
There's more harsh penalties, more money being spent on law enforcement, medical access is denied, dispensaries are closed. In fact, everything that was illegal before is still illegal now.
Thanks, everybody. Welcome to 420, Vancouver. How are we doing out there? I really appreciate the support. I'd like to tell you that this is what legalization looks like, but apparently this is what being a criminal looks like. So thanks for all of you coming down and being criminals with us. We really appreciate that. Of course, we're trying to not be criminals. That's what we've been after for all these years. This is my 21st 420. And we just want to not be criminals. We want to be free. Because really, this is more than about weed, right? This is about freedom.
They would just talk to us and listen to us. Then we could tell them there's so much to protest.
Cannabis activist for 30 years. When I first found out about the many wonders of the industrial hemp plant, and I was living out on Canada's west coast in Ucluelet, and saw that there was this great deforestation happening, and half those trees were going for pulp. And when I learned that 1 acre of hemp produces as much paper as 4 acres of trees over the same 20-year period, and create jobs and do it environmentally friendly, man, I started becoming a hemp activist. I formed a group, Patriotic Canadians for Hemp. Wonderful plant. We take a look at the medicines, you know, and it's like, people have always known this. It's nothing new. We're just rediscovering it, man. This plant, it's a natural right. And it's like our right to air and water, and we're here to celebrate that natural right. And I just want to thank you all for coming out today and celebrating that with us, man. Boom Sheila.
Do you love marijuana? Do you love 420? I love marijuana so much, and I am so happy to look out at all of these stoned, happy people looking back at me on a beautiful day in Vancouver. They told us we needed a permit. They told us to get the hell out of their parks. They told us marijuana's legal now, so go home and shut up. And we said, we're gonna celebrate the biggest, best 420 that this city has ever seen.
420, we're kicking down thousands and thousands of joints to the crowd.
What was it, 10 and a half pounds at last count?
Something like that.
All right, pass it around. Throw it back. If you have one, throw one back further. Stay down, stay down. Don't throw to anyone who's standing up. Only throw to people sitting down. Now throw it back. If you already got one and you get another one, throw it back. Throw it back further. Everyone must share. We can be coordinated in our handout of drugs with tens of thousands of people here and nobody gets hurt. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy 420!
All right, there's from our friends at Cannabis Culture and Pot TV up in Vancouver. I think it was 420. They also had a huge march this weekend too.
That looked like a blast.
We had a pretty good march here in Portland.
Yes, we did.
We are not going to have a live show for the next 2 weeks. We will have some tape shows. One of the shows will be a feature of our march, the videos from our march here in Portland. They actually had 500,000 people marching in Santiago, Chile, 100,000 in Vancouver, Canada, 150,000 in both Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Medellin, Colombia. Probably there were about 2 to 3 million people that marched around the world for cannabis just last Saturday.
Our march means a lot to me, but I would love to visit one of those one of these days. That would be just amazing.
I got invited, but I figured I'll stay home and add to this one. I got invited to Medellin and a couple others, but I wore my Colombian hat, so my friends in Colombia like that.
You were marching proud.
Yeah, the
leading the way.
Colombians like that. But we are live here on the 10th of May, and if you have a question for us, you can call us at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. We got about 11 minutes left here. So is there anything else you want to say about consumption, public consumption?
I just keep harshing back to the days when we first started the dispensaries where they'd sell you your bag in the front and you could go in the back and consume. And now they sell it to you and they push you out on the street. Why? Why?
Is that legalization? Just
No,
like
no.
they were saying in
Right.
Vancouver? No.
No, it's not. You're not free to do what you want. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go blow smoke in somebody's face that doesn't want to smell it.
Exactly. If they're going to,
I deserve a place to go hang out with you and
we'll
our
see.
friends.
And that right there, if we had a place, then people wouldn't be like, oh, they're blowing it in our face.
Yeah.
Because we're in our own place. Give us our place. Give us our place to go, and we'll be fine. That's all we're asking.
This is hemp oil that's smoking here. Let me start right here. I have some items that I'm going to show you here. These are hemp medicines. This one is circa 1910. It's got these little pills in here. It's a, you can see the pills. It's a Park Davis product from Park Davis, a pharmaceutical company still in existence. And it's got initially it had 1,000 little pills, but now it's down to maybe 50. I haven't been taking them. This is a hemp cough syrup. This is from Eli Lilly, and it is a powdered extract of cannabis. This was powdered hashish or keef. And this too from Park Davis. This is like 1870. This was a powdered preparation from cannabis indica or powdered hashish or keef. And then here is another bottle from Upjohn's with a cannabis tincture. Right next door we have our hemp flame of freedom. This is hemp oil on a hemp wick. This is directly from here. The little end here will be next week's hemp wick. And this just shows the reason marijuana was made illegal: to protect the petrochemical, pharmaceutical, military, industrial, transnational, corporate, elite, fascist sons of a bitches.
Like that.
Now they're trying to take over our industry, and we've got to take it back. Here, finally, just a little farther, is our hempcrete. Hempcrete. So this is one of the building materials that we can make. Instead of concrete, which adds carbon to the atmosphere, this will trap carbon, and it's more durable and lighter than concrete. So there's our hemp show and tell for tonight. That's what we called it when I was a kid. It was show and tell. When my kids went through school, they're adults now. I'm old. But they were sharing. It wasn't show and tell anymore.
Because you
became sharing.
didn't want to show off.
I guess so.
Look what I got.
If you have any of those conditions, medical marijuana can help you, and we have doctors all over the country that are ready to help you get a state medical marijuana permit. If you need a reference to help you find a medical marijuana doctor, give us a call at that number on your screen. It's 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. I just had a call in today and from someone in Minnesota looking for a doctor, and I had like 10 of them to send him to. So he was able to hopefully get his medical marijuana permit there in Minnesota. But we have doctors all over the country. Had someone yesterday in Cleveland, Ohio, and we found several in Cleveland. Just give us a call at that number. If you're looking for a doctor, we have a doctor referral service. Call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. And there's our plug.
Nice.
So we have another video from the Seattle Hemp Fest. This is from back in 2011. We'll play a little bit of this video and we'll be right back right after this.
Welcome to Seattle, Washington Hemp Fest 2011.
It's under my ass and it's kind of warm, but you know.
20th anniversary, guys.
It'll get you where you need to go.
Epic, epic, epic.
It was a dark and stormy night.
Possession of small amounts is the lowest enforcement priority for our police.
I got the Lutheran of the Year.
Montana, where I be from. Hemp Fest, though I smoking hella weed.
Large intentional gatherings like this one can be a catalyst for powerful change.
Take a little piece of butter to get this whole world.
You want to start at the ground first?
Remember, Genesis 1:29 and 30, I give unto you all green, seed-bearing plants on all the planet as your food and medicine. Remember this.
Drums on number 5, please.
So it's time that we bring this safe, natural medicine, and it's time that we bring industrial hemp into the mainstream where it belongs. Marijuana is a safe, natural alternative to chemical poisons. Never forget that.
We've never had a third day hemp fest in the history of 20 years.
McWilliams still has no power. Over.
I'm not quite sure what it's going to be like.
And fly it up kind of like a kite.
Millions of people smoke marijuana all over the world now, in every corner. Nurses, teacher, the lawyer and the doctor, even the president of America.
The Obama administration, like every administration, like every politician, absolutely, positively sucks on medical marijuana and marijuana in general. When they asked Obama at every single sort of online press conference, the first question that everyone asked on the internet is, what do you think about legalizing marijuana? Every time he has laughed. Out loud, he just laughs. The lesson here is not to be anti-him, but to be anti-every politician who is lousy on the drug war, which is all but about 5. The way to go forward and make people pay attention to you is not by being on their reservation politically. It's not by being a guaranteed vote, but by making them suffer for being bad on an issue of basic humanity, for being on the wrong side of history, and for being on the side of locking up people for doing something that is absolutely, positively normal.
Yeah, smoke a blunt to that. Go, peace, be easy. Pass me the breezy. I wanna get high, just to do this all day. The more I get high, the longer I can stay. Yeah, whoa, coming back, yo. The homie's about to smoke a blunt, so I got to go.
All right, so welcome back. We're down to about 3 minutes left. So if somebody wants to get hooked up in your Epic Stakeholders Network, what do they do, Eric?
Follow us on Facebook, Epic Stakeholder Network, or you can get a hold of me, epicstakeholdernetwork@gmail.com, even give me a call, 503-997-1717.
That's easy to remember.
Yeah, simple and easy.
503-997-1717.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, just get a hold of me. Tell me that you heard about my program, and we'll figure it out and help you out however we can.
All right, and if you're interested in finding a doctor who can help you get a medical marijuana permit, you have any of these conditions, we have doctors all over the country who can help you. Just call us at that number, 503-235-4606. Eric, you want to say something?
They could possibly link through their clinic also to get a hold of me, correct?
Yeah.
There you
If you need help, you can't get him on his line, you can call and leave a message 24/7.
Thank you.
503-235-4606. We are there to help you with cannabis.
Yes.
So I want to thank you guys for watching. We are going to have tape shows for the next couple of weeks, but we'll be back live on May 31st and every weekend in June that we know of right now. Thanks for coming on, Eric. Thank you, John Cornett, for the music. We're going to go out on another great song by John, and we'll see you down on the other side. Help restore hemp.
Like that.
Good night.
God made this place. In the beginning, did he plant any seeds? Did he put them there for Adam and Eve, so they be hungry for the apple that the snake was always offering? And yeah, God smells great. Yeah, God grows good. Yeah. What if God smoked cannabis? Do you suppose he had a buzz when he made the platypus, when he created Earth, our home? Does he like Pearl Jam or the Stone? And do you think he rose his own up there in heaven? And when the saints go marching home, does he just sit and smoke a bowl?